As a teen, how often do you feel stressed? Do you get stressed from your schoolwork, your parents, your peers, or just everything that's happening around the world? Many adults think that social media is the main reason for teenage stress, but is that really true? A study from New York University surveyed a large number of high schoolers, asking how much stress they feel on a daily basis. 49% of high schoolers feel greatly stressed, and 31% of high schoolers feel somewhat stressed. This survey shows that almost all high school students feel stressed, but is that stress really all coming from social media? As an 8th grader, I would say that school gives much more stress than social media does. In school, students often get stressed about finishing upcoming assignments on time, getting good grades on tests, or sometimes even meeting a teacher's high expectations. I get stressed by school a lot, often worrying about finishing upcoming assignments on time, or studying for projects or upcoming tests, afraid that I will miss something on criteria and wouldn't be pleased with my grade. I often feel people expecting me to do well and get all A's, but high expectations like this often cause even more stress. Many teens like me, especially in an Asian culture, feel that if they don't get good grades, they will be scolded for not working hard enough, and even though they had given their best effort. Well, some people might argue that stress in school is good for you, that it pushes students to work harder in class and improves students' grades. Daniela Kaufer, Associate Professor of Integrative Biology at UC Berkeley, said that some amounts of stress can push you to improve performance. Well, on the other hand, too much stress can cause negative effects. Dr. Dana Halfalvin, a psychiatrist that served on faculties of 3 different medical schools, says that if chronic stress isn't coped well, it can cause negative effects. And these effects can range from frequent bad moods to relationships with others suffering. There are also some cases of students' personalities being negatively affected from too much stress. Amelia, a former student at a high-intensity and high-performing private school, was interviewed by the Colorado Public Radio. She attended a public school in her freshman year, then later in her sophomore year transferred to a private school. When she attended a normal public school, she worked hard and was proud to get her B's and C's. She was also an extrovert that loved talking to people, making jokes, and exploring new things. When she transferred to a high-performing private school, she had noticed how her school and new classmates were all focused heavily on grades and college applications. She also saw that everyone was cramming books and studying all night to achieve their perfect grades, which she saw was very unhealthy. Amelia didn't bother as much with getting perfect grades in her sophomore year, so she continued with her practices from her freshman year. And even though she knew it was unhealthy in her junior year, pressure from her peers and school made her follow their steps. After she started being stressed all the time, she realized that her extroverted, outgoing old self had become much more introverted and distant from friends. During her senior year, she decided to focus even more on her grades to make up for her previous performance. She forced herself to get all A's on her assignments and get perfect GPA for all her classes. When she started to force herself even harder, she had realized that the negative effects of stress had shown even more. She had also noticed some of her friends experiencing the same negative effects as her from too much stress, so she knew that the school board needed a change. She decided that it was her mission to show people that students shouldn't be having that much stress from school, and that not everything was about getting good grades and going to good colleges. Amelia has experienced the negative effects of school stress, and she continues to spread her ideas to others, hoping for a better change. Now, how do teens see school and social media as their sources of stress? A survey conducted by the American Psychological Association shows that 83% of teens say that school is their biggest source of stress. Most teens think that school is their main source of stress and don't think that social media gives much negative effects on them. According to a survey from the Pew Research Center, only 24% of teens say that social media gives mostly negative effects to people their age. 31% of teens say that social media gives mostly positive effects, and the remaining 45% say neither. This survey shows that social media only gives mostly negative effects to a small portion of teens, which would mean that an even lower portion of teens receive great amounts of stress from it. The 31% of teens who said that social media gives mostly positive effects on people their age were asked for their reasons. And their top 3 reasons were that it helps connect with friends and family, makes it easier to find news or information, and helps teens meet others with the same interests. Among the 24% of teens who said that social media gives a mostly negative effect on people their age, their top reason was bullying and rumor spreading. Many cases of bullying and rumor spreading start on school campuses. So without school as a foundation, there wouldn't be that much bullying and rumor spreading in social media. Adults need to acknowledge that not everything negative about teens come from social media, especially stress. Social media can give a great amount of stress to some portion of teens, but on the other hand, school gives stress to almost all teens, especially juniors and seniors who are preparing for their college applications. Schools should try to reduce the harmful amount of stress they are giving to teens and create a more positive environment within schools. School boards can help promote positive learning or change the standards so that the learning process is more important than the final grades itself. Teachers can also decrease the amount of homework that is given to students so that students might not be as stressed about schoolwork outside of class time. Maybe if teens were so stressed at school, our society would be a little brighter. Thank you.